Love this podcast? Support it and sponsor today. Simply head to ozcastnetwork.com for details.
Hi everybody, welcome to The Garage. I'm Jeremy Cordeaux. Peter Clayton is behind the camera, the court of public opinion for the next few minutes. Pete, that song with Linda Ronstadt and Johnny Cash yesterday, for Valentine's Day, that was fantastic. Good. Where did you find it?
Oh, look, it just popped up on the computer.
What are you going to do today?
Oh, well, I hadn't thought a lot about it. I've got one more of mine, if you don't mind.
Oh, no, I'd love you to.
A song called Deaf, Dumb and Blind.
Yep. And Caroline found me this on Valentine's Day. Inside 7 lesser-known Valentine's Day traditions from around the world. Woo! Bouquet of flowers with various hidden meanings in the United States. It's a bit predictable. Oh, pig and gingerbread-inspired gifts in Germany. In Germany, it's a tradition to incorporate pigs and gingerbread into gifts on Valentine's Day. Good God. Puzzle gifts in England and in America. Puzzle gifts. A puzzle purse is made entirely of paper which is folded and contains parts of a message or verse written on different corners. Gee. Men receiving chocolate in Japan. In Japan, typical gender roles are reversed on Valentine's Day, with women traditionally offering Valentine's chocolates to men. Okay. Celebrating Black Love Day in the United States. In African American communities in the United States, Black Love Day is celebrated. I wonder what the difference between Black Love Day and White Love Day is. I wouldn't have thought very much. Mass marriages in the Philippines on Valentine's Day. Celebrating friendship in Latin America, February 14. Valentine's Day includes celebrating friends, loving friends. There's an odd one. Naming a cockroach after an ex-partner in the United States. In parts of America, some take pleasure in using Valentine's Day to reflect on those who have scorned them by naming them after a cockroach. Sometimes a relationship doesn't work out, or you may have experienced infidelity or cheating problems, which means you can then name a cockroach after her. Who said that? Hell hath no fury like a woman scorned.
Well, I wonder if you then crush the cockroach.
Crush the cockroach? No.
You name it and then you tread on it. I don't know.
No, look, I know that cockroaches have very bad public relations, but I refuse to kill anything, and that includes, ladies and gentlemen, cockroaches. Even if they are named after me. Wouldn't worry me. Oh, by the way, listen, if you wanted evidence, or you wanted further evidence that the ABC was out of touch and a tad out of control, it was an interview with Ziggy Marley. Pete, you didn't happen to see it, did you?
I saw a little bit.
Ziggy Marley, I assume the son of Bob Marley.
Yes, I think so, yes.
Incomprehensible. Absolutely incomprehensible. The ABC salivating over this guy who, I don't know, maybe was the son of the rock star. I don't know. But not worth the time and the effort for the national broadcaster to produce this interview in prime time. What is the point if you cannot understand what the hell he's saying? I don't understand that. Oh, the Brittany Higgins case. Whoa, that rattles on. I do long for that probably brief moment when it's no longer before a court, where I can talk a little bit more, perhaps, frankly, about it from my point of view. Anyway, it rattles on. The defamation case is to be decided. Lisa Wilkinson now claims that she didn't say anything. This was the Network 10 interview. Didn't organise, connive, orchestrate, manipulate. It wasn't me, she said. I just read the script. She just read the script. Really. Why did she get the logie when it obviously should have gone to the person who wrote the script? You see, if somebody writes a script and tells an experienced journalist to read it, that journalist uses his or her experience to read it or not. Add to it, correct it, query it, research it further. I've never heard of a master-servant relationship in such circumstances. Why did she read the script if she didn't want to or didn't agree with it? She's now claiming about, I think it's $1 million from Network 10 for her personal legal expenses. More to come, ladies and gentlemen. Shock horror. When it comes to defence, Trump wants delinquent countries to be made to pay their way. In other words, pay their NATO dues. Or he rattled on, well, I'll just tell Putin that he can invade them, teach him a lesson, or whatever he said. But you get my drift. I frankly think that what he said was quite reasonable. Well, notwithstanding the I'll tell Putin to invade them, but you know, the point is these NATO countries are famous for dragging the chain when it comes to living up to their defence responsibilities. Now, we say the same thing, we see the same thing and say the same thing with the United Nations. Now, I resent it, but Australia always pays on time. It's nearly $100 million a year. Now, what do we get for that? Periodic, irrational criticism of our great nation. Best country in the world. It's a wasteful, impotent, socialist, travelling talk fest stroke cocktail party. Now there's $100 million we could save right off the top if we're looking at government waste. It's a big year for democracy. Half the world, in fact, is going to the polls this year. We have had elections in Pakistan, not happily concluded. Oh dear, oh dear. Oh dear, oh dear. Russia, yep. The USA to come, November, December. Also Indonesia, India. It's about 4 billion people all going off to file their, put their vote in the box. As Churchill said, it's not a perfect system, but it's going to have to do until something better comes along. Shoplifting apparently is costing us $15 million every day. It's an awful lot of money. That's Australia-wide, of course. Apparently it's out of control. It's well organised. Now, I really don't know what you do about it. It's been around a long time. But first thing I would do would be stop calling it shoplifting. It's shop theft. Or it's shop stealing. It's somehow, shoplifting is a kind of a, oh, I don't know, sounds a bit like a misdemeanour. It's not, it's a serious crime. And very well organised. They tell me in Melbourne, I was listening to 3AW, they were telling me on 3AW that people would go and they wouldn't steal just a couple of steaks from a supermarket, they'd take the whole lot. That it could go out the back, there'd be refrigerated trucks to take it. Their means of marketing is very sophisticated. I think we should look much more closely at shop stealing. The politically correct nuts in Western Australia. I can't single out Western Australia. This is everywhere. But in Western Australia, they have banned the toasted ham and cheese sandwich. Yep. Public school canteens in Western Australia are forbidden to serve the ever-popular ham and cheese toastie. Ham and cheese toasted sandwiches. Unbelievable. Why? Oh, it seems the ham is processed. All of this is very hard to understand. And here in South Australia, totally banned is fairy bread. Fairy bread. And butter is allowed only twice a term on sandwiches or in lunchboxes. What absolute nonsense. And as I said to you on yesterday's program, we have 1/3 of our school children who cannot read, write or spell. But you know what the politically correct are interested in. Not the basics. Certainly not the reading, writing and arithmetic. No way. How did we allow this thing to get out of control? Oh, it goes on. 0 is the most important number in our lifetime. 0 is everything. You might have seen this. It was on television, an electricity company. What happened to truth in advertising laws? That is a blatant lie and simply not possible to achieve. But the big question is why? Are there any rational people left in the world? Why is 0 important or achievable? Carbon dioxide is a vital element. It's a vital substance to the survival of life on the planet. And I drove past the Erbray wetlands on Crossroads yesterday, going down to Small and Woodfield. And, you know, that is a very big wetlands, but we have Victoria Park as well and several others, producing huge quantities of the worst greenhouse gas, methane. Not one Extinction Rebellion protester in sight. Funny, isn't it? Oh my God. Where else can we go here? The Productivity Commission says present-day policy is making the situation for Aboriginals worse. I saw this. In fact, we were talking with Warren Mundine around the dining room table 1 week ago, last Friday. It's been more than 15 years that we've been talking about the gap, closing the gap. All talk, no results. Yesterday, in a ceremony to mark the 16th anniversary of the Rudd government apology, sorry day, and all of that, the Albanese government, well, decided that you and I would put $700 million on the table to create Aboriginal jobs in remote parts of Australia. How? What are you going to do? You'll create another bureaucracy. There won't be one single dollar that trickles down to anybody. How do you create a job? Either real or they're not. They already have welfare, sit-down money, as I think they call it, and mining royalties. Look, if people choose to live, if Pete or I choose to live in some remote part of Australia, it's our problem. If we choose to live where there are no jobs or schools or industry, what business is it of anybody else? We often hear how Aboriginals lived successfully in similar circumstances for 60,000 years without any problem with white people or Europeans or anybody else. What's wrong with letting them be? I think the Aboriginals are being used as a tool a political weapon without any concern for a positive outcome. As I said, Warren Mundine was with us last Friday. Lord, he would make a fantastic Prime Minister. But at the moment he seems not to be all that interested in a political future. But we'll see what time throws up. Don't forget one of our sponsors, the lovely Rising Sun Inn on Bridge Street at Kensington. If you drop in there, tell Grant I sent you. And of course there's Jim Elder, which we mentioned yesterday. Wonderful sponsors. But the Rising Sun here in Adelaide, it's a great atmosphere. It is terrific. It's one of the oldest roadhouses or inns in the country. Not far from the city, just on this lovely little tree-lined street called Bridge Street in Kensington. The building is heritage listed, oozes old world charm. Lovely art on the walls, open fires, air conditioning for summer, year-round, great venue, dinner Monday through, now let me think here, Monday through Saturday. Yeah, I get confused a bit with that. Monday through Saturday, lunch Thursday through Sunday. I've been going there for years and years, mostly just to drop in and lean myself up at the bar and have myself a drink. But they've got 5 different available areas. You can configure them any way you like for functions, birthday parties, cocktail parties, group functions, business things, indoor, outdoor entertainment. Food is great. Drop in. You'll have the time of your life. I'll give you the phone number for a booking. Oh, live music at the end of every month. It's the last Sunday of every month. Live music. Now, 8333 0721. That's the phone number to make a booking. It's always wise because it's busy. The Rising Sun Inn in Kensington. Built about 1845. Have I got time? The new IR laws I want to go on talking about. They are dangerously stupid. They've passed Parliament, of course with the help of, insistence of the Greens. A lot of it is a union-led attack on the independent contractor, the casual worker, whether it happens to be a gig worker on a bike delivering food or an Uber driver or some other independent individual. They want as many people as possible, the unions do anyway, to be PAYE employees. PAY, that's pay as you earn employees, not independent contractors. Oh, can't be independent. Now I say we should have the freedom to choose. The disconnect rule is absolutely absurd. This is where the boss can't talk to you outside office hours. Stupid. Employer, employee should talk to each other whenever they need to, preferably all the time. And in my business, in radio and in television, producers and management would talk to me all the time. I would talk to them all the time. It's like many of Labor's policies. You've got to say, what is the problem you're trying to fix? What is the problem you're trying to fix? Ask any parliamentarian, how many times has his phone or her phone rung, called up by somebody who was angry that the boss called him round dinner time, or vice versa? It's so naive and short-sighted. If the boss rings you, it's because he needs to, and therefore you need to talk to him or her. And if you don't, regardless of the law, with the criminal implications, you will be skating on thin ice. You're not dumb, are you? We are not dumb. At the first opportunity, that boss will get rid of you or me, and I don't blame that person one bit. But I do blame this stupid, ideologically driven government, weak at the knees when the Greens say, you will do this or you will do that. And this is where we're heading with things like negative gearing and capital gains tax. Watch all of that with interest. The problem is this government is owned by the unions and controlled by the Greens. That's a simple fact of life. If you want to get on in life, be the most available and valuable person on the staff. That's not complicated. Not at all. I remind you that tomorrow we will be live at the dining room table, jeremycordeaux.com, talking about all kinds of things. I want to get into the business of loneliness. We need to do something about this terrible problem with reading around the country. Les Ellicus, I hope to have John Bruni, because there's plenty to talk to him about. You know, the government has now decided that we need a whole of government. No, we don't need a whole of government foreign policy. We need a whole of nation foreign policy. What the hell's the difference? Well, John Bruni will be able to tell us. Anyway, 'tis the 15th, ladies and gentlemen. Hope it is, whatever time of the day you're watching this, on Facebook or listening to Andy Martin's podcast of our show. That's Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, a different show every single day, and the live show on Friday. The number, by the way, for tomorrow, if you want to give us a ring, 0491 65 68 60. Happy birthday, happy wedding anniversary. YouTube, 2005. YouTube. I think YouTube. Pete, do you look at YouTube a lot?
They've got my songs, so I'm a fan.
Well, look,
yeah.
I think it's the best television channel.
Yeah. A lot of music.
The YouTube internet site on which videos can be shared and viewed and others can look, launched in the United States on this very day, 2005. The first teddy bear was introduced in America, made by Morris and Rose Mitchtom, 1903. Adolf Hitler announces construction of the Volkswagen Beetle, the people's car. Good old socialist he was, wasn't he? 1936 on this day. Happy birthday to the Beatle. Nat King Cole, American jazz pianist and pop vocalist, unforgettable, Mona Lisa, dies of cancer. 1965. Paul Shirley, 21, Australian, sucked a lifesaver for 4 hours and 40 minutes. I don't know who to feel more sorry for. Dear, oh dear. The things we do to get in the Guinness Book of Records. 1979. Graham Kennedy, Australian actor, king of Australian television, born in Melbourne. He died in 2005. He was born this day in 1934. US performs nuclear test at the Nevada test site, 1962. Charles Lewis Tiffany, American jeweler and founder of Tiffany & Company. He was born in Connecticut on this day in 1902. Wartime propaganda poster, "We Can Do It," produced by J. Howard Miller and posted on the walls of Westinghouse Electric and Manufacturing Company plants in the Midwest. Famous poster, 1943. King George VI is buried at St. George's Chapel, Windsor Castle, on this day in 1952. John Lennon passes his driving test. Must have been one of his more straight moments. 1965. Oh dear. 1971, after 1,200 years, Great Britain abandons pence and shillings for the decimal currency. And one more, Cesar Romero, American actor, Batman, Ocean's 11, born New York City, 1907. I don't think there's anything else there that's worth talking about. Oh, hang on. The first known case of A transgender woman breastfeeding reported in the Transgender Health Journal in the United States on this day in 2018. Who would have thought? The world's a funny place, isn't it? Thank you very much for being with us here in the Court of Public Opinion, ladies and gentlemen. I do value every moment you tune in and watch what Pete and I do. What is the track you're going to throw to?
Deaf, dumb and blind.
Deaf, dumb and blind.
Which I was.
Oh, we all are, periodically. Yeah. I know you'll enjoy this. I'm Jeremy Cordeaux. Peter Clayton and I will be back with you here in the garage next Monday, but around the dining room table live streaming jeremycordeaux.com tomorrow. Believe in yourself. And thank you for supporting and viewing the Court of Public Opinion.
I didn't see what I should have seen. I didn't be what I could have been. Now there's no turning back, but I wish I could. No second chance for you and me. You found love with another man. Now I'm just holding on the best I can. Baby, I was deaf, dumb and blind. I didn't hear when you said that you loved me. Should have shown you just how much I care. I didn't see, now it's brought me to my knees. Looking back and thinking about the foolish things I've done, lost in the confusion of a love gone wrong. What was I thinking when I turned your love away? Now there's a price that I have to pay. Baby, I was deaf, dumb and blind. I didn't hear when you said that you loved me. Should have shown you just how much I care. I didn't see, now it's brought me to my knees. Keeps rolling on, this heartache has no end. Waiting on a phone call, a word from a friend. There is no comfort for the sorrow that I've known, while I just bide my time alone. Baby, I was deaf, dumb and blind. I didn't hear when you said that you loved me. Should have shown you just how much I care. I didn't see, now it's brought me to my knees. Baby, I was deaf, dumb and blind. I didn't hear when you said that you loved me. Should have shown you just how much I care. I didn't see, now it's brought me to my knees. I didn't see, now now it's brought me to my knees.
Love this podcast? Support it and sponsor today. Simply head to AuscastNetwork.com for details.